want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Beat in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. The pains that they're deceived. Just like a weed.
Ladies and gents, I am the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back to a very special edition Sunday stream. We are streaming live across 3 different platforms and 7 different accounts, and I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you spending your Sunday afternoons with me. And I hope you guys have had a wonderful weekend thus far as we itch closer and closer to Santa Claus coming to town for Christmas. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. I hope you guys have had a wonderful weekend. And we are set to talk some pro wrestling yet again on a Sunday as it starts up a very busy week for yours truly. This is, of course, the official rewind for NXT Deadline, which, of course, streamed live on the Peacock, that is. Get your mind out of the gutter, you fucking savages. Peacock, last night from Bridgeport, Connecticut, with the pre-show starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Not a bad show. Not a bad show whatsoever. Obviously, there were a couple of things that really stuck out as being good, and there was a universal feeling. There was a universal feeling of negativity, not because of the pro wrestling. What I will say is, from a professional wrestling standpoint, the show was a solid show. From a professional wrestling standpoint, it was a solid show. But if there's one thing that I have always preached about NXT as to why I don't cover it, as to why it's just painful to watch on most weeks, NXT has the worst creative booking in the entire industry. The creative booking, the creative writing, the end result with NXT, it always results in something that should not have happened. For example, the 2 Iron Survivor challenges. First of all, the Iron Survivor Challenge, love the concept. The concept is a great concept, probably one of the better concepts of the modern era that WWE has come up with. And the Iron Survivor, it's actually a very, very, very nice gimmick for the NXT brand going forward. And it definitely brings a sense of excitement. And I appreciate that. It brings a sense of excitement. It brings a sense of intrigue. I like that. But the creative booking of the 2 Iron Survivor challenges, specifically the 2 outcomes, I don't know why anyone would think Blair Davenport and Trick Williams were the right winners. Not because they're not great. Not because they're not okay at what they do. We're going to discuss that a little bit later on, but Blair Davenport and Trick Williams, they should not have won the Iron Survivor challenges. And I'm going to explain why when we get to that. Then, of course, we got Baron Corbin and Ilya Dragunov in the main event for the NXT Championship. Solid main event. A solid main event, probably one of Baron Corbin's best matches in his entire career. And by that time, the crowd was kind of dead. They were kind of dead. It's actually quite disappointing because the crowd on Collision, which we will go over Collision as well. We're going to review Collision and Deadline. The crowd on Collision, even though it was 2,000 people, it was only half of the attendance over at NXT Deadline. Yet the people over on Collision somehow made more noise for almost every single one of the matches. Meanwhile, you take a look at some of the matches on NXT Deadline, and they were dead silent. Dead silent for Carmelo Hayes and Lexis King. Dead silent for Roxanne Perez and Kiana James. And for about half of the main event, they were dead silent. Kind of disappointing. Kind of disappointing there. But Deadline was not a bad show. Deadline was not a bad show, but it did highlight one thing. While we have a great roster with NXT, the roster is great, don't get me wrong. We have a great roster with NXT, but when it comes down to it all, NXT is plagued by terrible booking on the part of Shawn Michaels. And we're going to discuss everything. Hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend, as I said. Thank you to Anya and Dee Dee for stopping on by. You guys are awesome. Please make sure, if you haven't already done so, to follow me on social media. Follow me on social media on X and Instagram at HistoryMakerDJS. One more time, at HistoryMakerDJS, both on X and Instagram. You can also add me on my personal Facebook for collaborations and business inquiries. Please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook, that is, which we are live on right now. We're also live on the DJ Storms business page. You guys missed the Lightning Flash update. Please go and check out the Lightning Flash update from yesterday. We went in depth for 40 minutes on the problems with AEW and what Tony Khan needs to do to fix them going forward, and how he needs to fix the backstage negativity amongst the locker room talent in AEW. We also went over Wesley's injury. We went over Raw. We went over SmackDown. We went over Dynamite and Rampage. And we are heading closer and closer towards Final Battle and World's End. We also have the rundown for Ring of Honor Final Battle coming up on Thursday. That would be Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's almost like he was right on cue. He was waiting for the right moment to make his presence known. Hoolagrim's in the chat, and Hoolagrim will be my guest on the rundown for Final Battle on Thursday. He will also be my guest next Sunday, December 17th, for the rewind for Final Battle. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. We're going to discuss all the happenings that are going to be going down in Dallas, Texas. And I hope you guys will join us for that. On top of that, we also got the rundown for AEW World's End. That's going to be on Thursday, December 28th. And my good friend Hannah, she's a big Natalia fan, but she is a loyal supporter. She's been a loyal supporter for a very long time. Hannah is going to be stopping by the channel to do the rundown with me. It's going to be fun. She's going to predict everything going down in Long Island. And then on top of that, we got Matt the Giants fan coming back to the channel. Matt the Giants fan coming back to the channel on December 31st. The final stream of 2023, December 31st. Matt the Giants fan is going to be joining me, and we are going to be going over AEW World's End. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So we got a lot of streams to end the year. And on top of that, I'm going to be making an appearance at Masters of Your Memories on December 30th before World's End between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. I'm going to be having a table. I'm going to be selling some merch. And I may just do a stream as well. I think I may do the stream on my phone, though, because the last time that I tried to do it on my laptop, the Wi-Fi kept cutting in and out. And I was just sick and fucking tired of that. So regardless of that, we're going to make up for that, and we are going to do a stream, and I think I may very well do some year-end awards. I may do some year-end awards. I may put the polls out on Twitter, and I may very well do top 10 matches. Of course, that's a tradition. Top 10 matches of 2023. That should be good. So please mark your calendars, set your notifications. You are not going to want to miss a minute of all the streams that I got going on, and I got some Christmas song covers coming to you guys. I know you guys have been wanting to hear. the DJ Storms inspired Christmas covers. I know last year you had Heart the Posse members sing. I know for 2021, I remember we had Jingle Bell Rock, but instead of Jingle Bell Rock, it was DJ Storms Rocks. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. I'm telling you, I got 2 covers, and I think you guys are going to absolutely love them. On top of that, please make sure that you hit the like button no matter where you're watching it from. Be sure to share the stream out on all platforms of social media, whether that be on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or Pinterest or Tumblr. Yeah, DJ Storms Rocks, you like that one, huh? You like that one, Hooligan. Have you heard DJ Storms is coming to town? I think that one's the best one. DJ Storms is coming to town. I think that one's the elite one. That one's the elite one right there. But regardless of that, share the stream out on all platforms, social media. Get as many people in here as possible because it is a known fact that I make people's lives better. Shout out to Brittany K. Wonderful woman. Big supporter of the channel. She does beautifully crafted graphic designs and drawings from scratch on her iPad. So if you guys are looking for some great drawings of professional wrestlers, or if you want a new Twitter Abby or banner, she is your girl. Go hit her up on Twitter at BrittanyK5150, and then on Instagram at BrittanyK Designs. And then, of course, shout out to Corporate Information System, our top-tier recruiting company here in New Jersey. Please go and check them out. Their website is www.cisrecruiters.com. One more time, www.cisrecruiters.com. Go check them out. They will help you fulfill all of your hiring needs. And then, of course, be sure, if you have not already done so, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, whether that be on my channel or the Hardcore Sports channel, because we're trying to be the #1 brand in all of sports analytics. We're trying to be the #1 brand in all of sports analytics. And in order to do that, we need to gain subs. So hit the subscribe button if you have not already done so, and hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace, because that way you're going to know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, oh, baby, it is the best time to be on YouTube, because it is the only time that you're going to get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination and this beautiful mustache right here. Hold on, it's in here somewhere. I just got to get it. I just got to find it. It's in here somewhere. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Look at that beautifully crafted magical ace. Black comb. Hold on a minute. I gotta blow on it. It is sizzling. It is hot. And we're going to light it up right here on the rewind on a Sunday with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of because like oh so hot and steamy fried dumplings right off the pan, I am just so good. I am sizzling. I am succulent. I am tasty. The tastiest snack in the IWC. And everybody wants a piece of the Storms Meister. And I'm sure that we can get trending in the chat. So, without further ado, why don't we get into the festivities here? Like I said, we're going to be going over Deadline and Collision. Collision obviously was the better show. Crowd was much more hyped than they were for Deadline. And on top of that, we got much better wrestling on Collision, minus the 2 Iron Survivor challenges, because the 2 Iron Survivor challenges were excellent. Pre-show match. WWE had a pre-show match here for the final premium live event of the year. Pre-show match, it was Axiom and Nathan Frazer. And they only went 11 minutes. But for 11 minutes, this was a damn good fucking match. This was great. Matter of fact, this may have very well been the best pre-show match for all of professional wrestling all year. I don't think I can name you a better pre-show match. This was a fantastic, fantastic match. The only pre-show match that came close to what Nathan Frazer and Axiom did was probably the Revolution pre-show match. And I remember the Revolution pre-show match, it was Ari Daivari, Tony Nese, and Josh Woods versus Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Bros. And I thought that was fantastic. That was a fantastic trios match. This match, though, I would have to put it just above that match just because Axiom and Nathan Frazer, they wrestled a match that was actually better than the main event. Quite shocking to admit, but Nathan Frazer and Axiom, they tore the house down on the pre-show, and it was a great way to start the show. So we had some swift back and forth early on. Frazer then sent Axiom into the turnbuckle face first. Frazer tried to slow the pace down. We had a moonsault, springboard moonsault into a reverse DDT. Axiom then with a drop kick and a little half and half suplex. He then slapped Frazer in the face. Frazer then slapped Axiom right across the chest. We had a forearm by Axiom and a moonsault to the floor. Crowd was chanting NXT, NXT. Frazer with a superplex roll through into the final cut. Axiom kicked out. We had a super kick by Frazer connecting on the dot. Crowd was chanting, "This is awesome." Axiom then with a super kick while Frazer was in mid moonsault. Absolutely crazy spot right there. Super kick by Frazer. Axiom kicked out. Axiom then with a gorgeous avalanche Spanish fly, and then he delivered the golden ratio, and Axiom gets the win 1, 2, 3 on the Deadline pre-show. This was easily the perfect pre-show match for the show, one of the best pre-show matches all year, and Axiom and Nathan Frazer, if they play their cards right, they got two really, really, really good young stars that they could build a brand around. Nathan Frazer, I mean, he was trained by Seth Rollins. Axiom, I don't know how they fucking did it, but it's almost as if when he became Axiom instead of A-Kid over in NXT UK, and he became Axiom, it's almost like he just became more exciting in the ring. I'm not sure how that's even possible, but these two, excellent stuff on the pre-show. Perfect, simple, and effective 11-minute match. Can't complain. And Axiom got the win. And it's good to see Axiom win. It's good to see Axiom win because Axiom doesn't really get a lot of wins. I like to hope that we get a little bit more from Axiom going forward, especially on SmackDown, because Axiom and Nathan Frazer, man, they put on a fucking great match on SmackDown a couple weeks ago. So that was the pre-show match. The main show, it kicked off with Shawn Michaels. He came out to hype up NXT Deadline as the final premium live event of the year. And he goes, "Are you ready?" "No, I said, are you ready?" And then all of a sudden, CM Punk's music hits. Punk makes his way out. Boy, they are really milking the fuck out of CM Punk, huh? He's on Raw, he's on SmackDown, he's on NXT. Crowd was chanting CM Punk. Punk then took a selfie with Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels noticed that CM Punk was wearing a Bret Hart shirt. And CM Punk goes, "Hey, you guys made up. I already made up with Triple H. This is a time for healing." He then teased being on NXT, and that was pretty much that. I don't know what the fuck they're doing here. But this NXT appearance was fucking pointless. Like what purpose did this serve? It didn't draw any new viewers. CM Punk is not going to draw new viewers for NXT. NXT is a dead brand. Unless they have main roster talent on the show, and even then, that doesn't benefit them long term. Look at the ratings from this past Tuesday. And I know, I say that ratings don't matter, but everyone wants to act like the ratings matter. So you know what? I'll act like the ratings matter, even though they don't for 1 second. NXT last month, not even last month, 2 months ago, NXT 2 months ago was at 920,000 viewers. 920,000 viewers. And this past Tuesday, they barely broke 620,000 viewers. What does that tell you? That NXT can't succeed unless they have a main roster talent on the show. They can't succeed unless they have a main roster talent on the show. Meanwhile, people want to shit all on AEW for their ratings. Meanwhile, their ratings have actually remained consistent. They've remained in between the 800,000 and the 900,000 viewership rating, in between that vicinity range. NXT's gone down. The only time that they're up is when they have a Becky Lynch on the show, or John Cena on the show, or an Undertaker on the show. Look at what happened with the Judgment Day. Look what happened with Dominic Mysterio. People are numb to Dominic Mysterio on NXT. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares. I really don't want to be that guy, but I just got to go out there and say it. I need to put it out there. Minus the promo that we got 2 days ago on SmackDown, this whole I love you guys, I'm home, I'm ready for my future, and I'm trying to heal, and I'm a different person. This version of CM Punk fucking sucks. It absolutely fucking sucks, Rhino Dick. It really does. I understand that it's only been 2 weeks. I get it. It's only been 2 weeks. Gotta let things play out. You got to let things play forward, and you gotta wait until he gets to the Royal Rumble, and then we can get the feud with Rollins going. But oh my God, this feud with Rollins, it cannot start soon enough. This feud with fucking Rollins cannot start soon enough. Really, it can't. I really don't understand how anyone is buying into this lovey-dovey CM Punk as being genuine. It's not coming off real. It's not coming off like it's genuine. It's coming off forced. It's coming off legitimately forced. Like they're trying to paint a picture over the obviously trashy one that was originally painted there. You have a shitty picture. You have a fucking pig right in front of you. You have a pig right in front of you, and you're trying to dress it up in lipstick and mascara and a fucking tutu and a fucking tiara. It's still a fucking pig at the end of the day. You can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. You can put mascara on a fucking monkey, but it's still a monkey. You can dress up a cow in a fucking dress, but it's still a cow. No one is buying into this genuine, lovey-dovey CM Punk because it's not genuine. See, when CM Punk first came back to AEW, that lovey-dovey, happy to be here CM Punk, that was genuine. That was genuine because we were all happy that he was back. We were anticipating the future. We were all excited to see him. And we all had it in our minds that he was brought back for the future of AEW. And he was there to he was there to lead the future of AEW. He was there to help the business going forward. He was there to give back. He was there to be selfless. And that turned out not to be the case. CM Punk revealed his true colors. After everything that happened, AEW gave him the world. AEW gave him the world. And what did he do with it? He got his fucking panties in a bunch just because people didn't agree with his opinions. Again, not entirely his fault. Not entirely his fault. The antics of the Young Bucks and Jack Perry certainly were not warranted, and they came off like juvenile delinquents. And then on Tony Khan's part, he does not know how to manage the egos of the locker room. So again, it was not entirely his fault, but only CM Punk can control how CM Punk acts. And he chose to bring himself down to their level. Meanwhile, if he took the high road, we'd probably be sitting here in a much different scenario. But clearly, CM Punk is bothered. CM Punk is bothered. He wants to say that, I don't care what people think of me. Clearly, you fucking do. Phil Brooks, at his core, no matter how you want to spin it, Phil Brooks, at his core, is a fucking asshole. Phil Brooks, at his core, is a fucking asshole. He's a self-absorbed, egotistical, delusional prick. Phil Brooks is a selfish douchebag. Why are we not getting that, CM Punk? I don't mind being happy for the first day or two, but after that, I would like to get down to fucking business here. You're not going to be able to sell me on CM Punk as this lovey-dovey, healing up all past wounds babyface. And I'm also going to throw this out there. I'm going to throw two things out there. Number one, we never would have gotten CM Punk returning to WWE if we never got CM Punk returning to AEW. If CM Punk never returned to AEW, he would have never returned to WWE. And number two, The only reason why he did return to WWE was to spite Tony Khan. Everything that CM Punk has said, minus the promo on SmackDown, which was very good, minus the promo on SmackDown, CM Punk and the way that he's been presented, that has got to be some of the most fake shit I have ever seen. And I hate using that. I literally hate using that term with pro wrestling, but I could just sense the fakeness that is exuding off of CM Punk. I could just sense the fucking fake all over the promo on NXT last night. I can just sense the fucking fake all over his promo on Monday Night Raw. I can just sense this fucking fake happiness, this fake friendship like CM Punk. CM Punk is a fucking jerk-off. We need that CM Punk. We need dickhead CM Punk, not PG Punk. See, dickhead CM Punk, that's the CM Punk that's going to generate interest. That's the CM Punk that's going to garner attention. That's the CM Punk that is going to make Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, and the WWE product as a whole better. That's the CM Punk that is going to genuinely intrigue us. That's the CM Punk that's going to keep us guessing, oh man, what is he going to say next? What is he going to say next? What is he going to do next? That's the CM Punk we need. This CM Punk sucks. I honest to God do not know what they are trying to do. I don't know what they are trying to do. I'm not sure who the fuck they are trying to fool. But CM Punk coming out as this lovey-dovey, I love you guys, I'm trying to heal all the past wounds CM Punk. This is as manufactured as you can get. He was given the world in AEW, and he threw it all away because people disagreed with his opinions, and he got his fucking panties all up in a bunch. He only re-signed with WWE just to spite TK. And if we never got the AEW return, then we would have never gotten the WWE return. We need asshole CM Punk. I'm telling you, the feud with Rollins, I am counting down the days until we get to the feud with Seth Rollins, because that is when we're going to start to see the CM Punk that's going to generate some interest. That's when we're going to start seeing the CM Punk that's going to garner attention. This version of CM Punk, absolutely fucking trash. Matt, yes, I was going to get to the matches right after I was done. All you have to do was wait a couple more minutes. Calm yourself down. Have a little bit of fucking patience, you fucking asshole. Let's get to the matches, shall we? We'll talk about Deadline first, and then we're going to go into Collision. Dragon Lee and Dominic Mysterio. Dragon Lee and Dominic Mysterio. Dragon Lee and Dominic Mysterio fought for the NXT North American Championship. This is their third matchup together. And I was actually kind of disappointed with this match. Not to say that it was a bad match. But if you take a look at their match on Monday Night Raw back in September versus their match now, and I'm actually wondering, where was that Dominic Mysterio when we needed him last night at Deadline? Why is it that this match only went 10.5 minutes? I understand that you got 2 Iron Survivor challenges that you got to book, but if you are going to book a premium live event, if you're going to give me a major event, then you should book the best possible matches, and you should give each match at least 15 minutes. When it comes to a premium live event, no match on the main show should go less than 15 minutes. Any match that does, inexcusable. Inexcusable. It seemed like these two were just breaking into the second gear. They were just breaking into the third gear, and then it just ended. I don't understand why. Shout out to Raging Girl Gamer, who's watching right now. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate you. Hoolagrim, do you really believe that CM Punk feels that way? How old was he back when he joined AEW? He was 42 years old. He's 45 now. That's not really that big of an age difference. Not really that big of an age difference. When it comes to maturity, Phil Brooks is not mature. Phil Brooks is not a mature individual, bro. Phil Brooks is a fucking conceited juvenile douchebag. He's no better than the Bucks. The only difference between Phil Brooks and the Bucks is that Phil Brooks was responding to something that the Bucks were doing rather than instigating it. And then when this year came around, Phil Brooks instigated the drama with Jack Perry. So in a sense, Phil Brooks looked like a hypocrite there. I'm happy that he's back in WWE. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm very happy that he's back. But I mean, come on. Showing maturity? CM Punk ain't fucking mature. He's a juvenile douchebag. That's who he is. He revealed his true colors in AEW. That is who he is. And it's going to take a long, long time for him to rebuild his reputation if he is being genuine, which I don't believe he is. He doesn't even want to be there. He just signed because he's spiting Tony Khan. He's spiting Tony Khan. He's going to do what he needs to do. He's going to main event WrestleMania. He's going to make a bunch of big bucks. He's going to fight Roman Reigns, and then that's it. Dragon Lee and Dominic Mysterio. Let's get to this match. The match was not bad. But it was not better than their original match back in September. It was not better than their match in September. I honest to God don't know why they did not let them go out there and try and one-up what they did in September. Very, very, very odd to say the least. I really don't understand why you're going to handcuff Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee, this is Dragon Lee's third match in a row that he's been handcuffed. He was handcuffed at Survivor Series. He was handcuffed on SmackDown. And here he was handcuffed at Deadline. What changed? What exactly changed? Dragon Lee was going out there every week on SmackDown and putting on bangers with everyone he stepped into the ring with. Austin Theory, Cedric Alexander, Axiom. What changed? Why exactly are you holding Dragon Lee back? Now, Dragon Lee won, which I'm very happy that he did. That is exactly what needed to happen. Exactly what it needed to happen. But it really left me wanting more. It really, really, really left me wanting more. And the one thing that made up for it is the fact that Dragon Lee finally, after 1 year, finally, Dragon Lee gets his just due. So Lee came in right out of the gate with a Tope Con Hero. Hurricane Rana into the corner. Dom then took over with a DDT on the apron. Dom then slowed the pace down. We had a Tope Atomico for a 2. Dom then with the three amigos by Dominic Mysterio. That got a 2 count. Dom was then on the outside of the buckle. Dragon Lee hung him in a tree of woe on the outside buckle. And Dragon Lee delivered a tree of woe double stomp on the apron, which looked nasty. Crowd chanted, "Holy shit." Dragon Lee and Dominic Mysterio both got back into the ring. Dragon Lee mounted a comeback with a big hesitation dropkick. Dom was then hung in the tree of woe again. Dragon Lee with another big double stomp. Big dropkick by Dominic Mysterio. That got a 2. Dragon Lee, he then delivered a snap German to Dominic Mysterio. Dom then reversed a powerbomb into a powerbomb of his own. Dom then missed the 619 and delivered, he was going to deliver a clothesline. Dragon Lee, he went up and around in a tilt-a-whirl and then delivered a sit-out powerbomb to Dominic Mysterio for a 2. And at that point, the match was really starting to get going. Then all of a sudden, just as the match was starting to get going, Dragon Lee hits the reverse Shiranui, and Dragon Lee pins Dominic Mysterio clean 1, 2, 3, and that was it. Just as it was starting to get going, it just ended. Now, is Dragon Lee the right guy to hold the North American Championship? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I'm very happy he has the North American Championship. He should remain the North American Champion for a good while. But I just can't help but feel like I wanted more. I've seen Dragon Lee put on better matches on NXT than he has on Deadline, or an NXT TakeOver, or an NXT Premium Live Event, or what he did with Santos Escobar at Survivor Series. He has put on better matches on a random episode of NXT than he did his last 3 matches. And his last 3 matches were probably the 3 biggest matches of his career, and they did not let him go out there and steal the show. Why? Very, very fucking stupid. Very stupid. it honest to God felt like a SmackDown match. It felt like a SmackDown match on a premium live event. Dragon Lee's the new North American champion, as he should be. Dominic Mysterio, I'd like to see Dominic Mysterio actually own his craft, because right now, Dominic Mysterio is not ready for a championship. I do not want to see him as a champion for a long, long time. The Women's Iron Survivor Challenge. This is Tiffany Stratton, Lash Legend, Fallon Henley, Kalani Jordan, and Blair Davenport. And I was very, very impressed with these 5 women. These 5 women went in there and they worked their asses off. These 5 women went in there, they worked their asses off, and we ended up getting a really, really, really good Iron Survivor Challenge. Matter of fact, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say that this year's Women's Iron Survivor Challenge was actually better than last year's Women's Iron Survivor Challenge. And I got to give my props to everyone, even Lash Legend. I'm not sure what she did. I'm not sure what exactly she's been doing, but Lash Legend, she went in there and she actually looked great for the time that she was in there. She was doing choke slams and fall away slams and Samoan drops, and she was body slamming everyone. Lash Legend did not look half bad in this match. And if Lash Legend can keep up the pace, if she can continue to improve in the ring and really add more moves to her repertoire, I really do believe that Lash Legend could be a solid player in the NXT Women's Division. So I will indeed give her credit there. I remember where she was 2 years ago. She fucking sucked 2 years ago. She was like NXT's version of Sky Blue. And what happened with Sky Blue? Sky Blue has improved immensely. Lash Legend is in that same category. And I got to give her credit. If there's one individual that was the breakout star of that Iron Survivor Challenge, it was Lash Legend. I did not expect anything from Lash Legend in this Iron Survivor Challenge. I actually said that she shouldn't have even been there. She proved me wrong. She shut me up. I appreciate that. So good on her. Lash Legend looked great. I got to give my props to Fallon Henley, too. I didn't really see too much in Fallon Henley, but Fallon Henley, she's been working her ass off in the PC, and she's improved greatly as well. So Fallon Henley and Blair Davenport, they started the match. Fallon Henley and Blair Davenport with some multiple pin attempts back and forth. Henley came back with a side kick and a right hand. We had our third entry, and her name was Tiffany Stratton, which, by the way, Tiffany Stratton is still buried. I know a lot of people do not want to admit that. A lot of people are going to want to come out here and say, well, Tiffany Stratton, she did great against Becky Lynch. She did great against Becky Lynch, and she's the future of the women's division. She looked so good in defeat. What has she been doing? What has she been doing after her 2 losses to Becky Lynch? She ain't doing jack shit. But yet I'm the one that got shit on for saying that she's buried. She has absolutely no momentum behind her. None. And it was even more apparent after this match was over. So Tiffany Stratton came out as the third entrant. Tiffany Stratton and Blair Davenport then worked together to take out Fallon Henley. Fallon Henley tried to fight back. Stratton with a clothesline. Double Fujiwara armbar on Henley by Stratton and Blair. Stratton then with a boot to Blair. That alliance was over pretty quickly. We had a handspring back elbow by Tiffany Stratton on Blair and Fallon in the corner. All of a sudden, this was great right here. Tiffany Stratton did a no-hands cartwheel, and Fallon Henley wrapped around her waist. Tiffany Stratton then landed on her feet and then delivered an Alabama slam on Fallon Henley, which I thought was very well done. Even though she's buried, she's still a great wrestler. So then all of a sudden, Blair threw her out. Blair threw her out, and then she pinned Fallon Henley, and she scored a fall. Fallon Henley was then sent to the penalty box, and then it was Stratton and Blair. All of a sudden, Kalani Jordan then came out. Jordan then with a handspring moonsault on Blair, but Stratton saved it. Fallon then came back from the penalty box. She delivered a blockbuster from the middle rope on Tiffany Stratton. Fallon Henley then with the Shining Wizard, and Fallon Henley scored a fall. Tiffany then goes to the box. Kalani and Fallon then traded pins back and forth. Tiffany then came back in. Blair and Kalani then brawled up on the top buckle. Lash Legend then came in out of nowhere. She double power bombed Blair and Kalani. Tiffany Stratton and Fallon were taken out as well. All of a sudden, we had a double superplex by Lash Legend on Blair and Kalani, which looked very nice. She then delivered a choke slam on Fallon Henley and Tiffany Stratton, and she got some height on that choke slam. She then pinned both women, similar to how Roman Reigns pinned Bryan Danielson and Adam Copeland at WrestleMania 37, and she scored 2 falls. So right then and there, Lash Legend went up 2 falls. Tiffany and Fallon were sent to the penalty box. Kalani then with a Hurricane Rana and then a big moonsault on Lash. Blair then took over. All of a sudden, and this is where things really started to get crazy, Metaphor, they came in, Oro Mensah and Noam Dar came in, and they were blocking the penalty box. So Fallon Henley and Tiffany Stratton could not get out. So Fallon Henley and Tiffany Stratton tried to climb. All of a sudden, Stratton then shoved Fallon off of the penalty box through the announce table. Stratton then went up to the top of the penalty box with a swanton bomb onto Metaphor and Blair Davenport on the floor. Crowd was loving it. Crowd was chanting, holy shit. All of a sudden, we had Blair Davenport and Lash Legend. They were trading some pinfalls. All of a sudden, in came Tiffany Stratton with a stomp on Kalani and a stomp on Lash. We had a double stomp, and she tried to tie the score, but it did not work. Blair Davenport then came out of nowhere with a double stomp on Kalani, and she pins Kalani, and she ties the score 2-2 with Lash Legend. Lash Legend then held Fallon Henley on her back. She then held Blair Davenport in her arms. Fall away slam Samoan drop. Like I said, a lot of really good spots here from Lash Legend, so I got to give her credit there. Kalani then got out of the box. Kalani then with a stunner on Lash Legend. Blair Davenport then with a stomp on Lash Legend. Everyone started taking out everyone. Stratton then with the prettiest moonsault ever. She then pinned Lash Legend. And after 23 fucking minutes, Lash Legend, she's in the penalty box, and Tiffany Stratton finally scores a fall. So Tiffany Stratton, it took her 23 fucking minutes to score a fall. So Lash Legend went to the box. Kalani Jordan then with a 450 splash on 2 women. Fallon Henley then saved it. She tried to scramble for the cover. It was absolute bedlam. We had a German suplex from the top by Blair Davenport on Kalani Jordan. V-trigger on Fallon. Blair Davenport took the lead with 3 points. Fallon Henley then left the box, and Blair Davenport was playing a little cat and mouse. She ran away from Lash Legend for the next 15 seconds. The time elapsed, and Blair Davenport is the Iron Survivor. Blair Davenport takes the win. Lash Legend looked great, and this match was better than what we got last year at Deadline in the Performance Center. And the women here, they delivered. I would probably have to say this was the second best match on the show. The 2 Iron Survivor challenges easily were the top 2 matches on the show. So afterwards, Lyra Valkyria then came out to greet Blair Davenport. All of a sudden, she was attacked by Cora Jade. And Cora Jade took the championship and held the title up high. I am a Blair Davenport guy. I don't want anyone to misconstrue what I'm saying. I love Blair Davenport. Blair Davenport's fucking awesome. Blair Davenport should absolutely be an NXT Women's Champion. She's absolutely a future star that you build the main roster shows around. But I want you guys to think about this. I really want you to think about this legitimately. Is Blair Davenport winning the championship from Lyra Valkyria now? Is she going to win the championship from Lyra Valkyria at this very moment? I can't see it. You know why? Because Lyra Valkyria just won the fucking title. You're really going to take the championship off of Lyra Valkyria after how many months? 2 months? 2.5 months? I've stated numerous amounts of times, we need long title reigns. Short title reigns don't do jack shit. Blair Davenport is a future NXT Women's Champion, but she is the woman that should be saved to take the title off of Lyra Valkyria when the time is right. Blair Davenport and Lyra Valkyria should have been your NXT Stand and Deliver match in Philadelphia. That should have been the match. That should have been the ultimate crowning achievement for Blair Davenport. Even though she's buried, Tiffany Stratton should have won this match. If anything, all this match did was further prove my point that Tiffany Stratton is absolutely buried and she has no value at this very moment. I'm still wondering why Tiffany Stratton is still in NXT if you had her lose the championship to Becky Lynch. I'm still trying to figure out why exactly Tiffany Stratton is still lingering around NXT, even though she's already lost the NXT Women's Championship and she was going to lose this match altogether. Tiffany Stratton should have been called up to the main roster. You have Dragon Lee on the fucking main roster and you got no fucking plans for him. He's just out there putting on great matches. You're telling me you can't do the same thing with Tiffany Stratton? How fucking retarded can this company be? The match itself was great. But is anyone really under the impression that Blair Davenport is going to beat Lyra Valkyria after Lyra Valkyria hasn't even gotten her fucking feet wet as champion yet? How am I supposed to believe that Blair Davenport is going to beat Lyra Valkyria on the first NXT of the year when Lyra Valkyria is just coming off the biggest win of her career against Becky Lynch, and Lyra Valkyria, as we speak, should be holding that championship all the way until WrestleMania weekend? I mean, come on. It should have been Stratton. It should have been Stratton. Stratton should have won because Stratton, at the end of the day, she's a great wrestler. She'll give Lyra Valkyria a great match, but she's ultimately not going to win. She's not going to fucking win. She's going to lose. She's going to lose because Tiffany Stratton has been booked like a fucking loser throughout the entire second half of 2023. The entire second half of 2023, Tiffany Stratton has been a complete fucking afterthought. She had a shit title reign. She lost twice to Becky Lynch. She got buried by Becky Lynch. And now she lost the Iron Survivor Challenge. Who the fuck cares if Tiffany Stratton loses again at this point? It's going to take her a while to rejuvenate her credibility. She should have been the one to win. Tiffany Stratton should have been the one to win. Tiffany Stratton should have fought Lyra Valkyria. And you should have saved Blair Davenport for NXT Stand and Deliver. Now Cora Jade is back. What the fuck are you going to do with Cora Jade? Are you really going to have Cora Jade be the one to take the title off of Lyra Valkyria? Listen, Cora Jade has gotten better. I will admit it. Cora Jade has gotten better. She has. But is she ready? No. Cora Jade is not ready. She is still green as fuck. She is still as soft hitting as they come. The fucking Miz hits harder than Cora Jade. And the Miz is the fucking king of soft style. If they're really building up Cora Jade to take the title off of Lyra Valkyria, I'm sorry. I cannot get behind that. And further proving that NXT, even though it has a great roster, even though we get great wrestling, the creative writing fucking blows dick. Blair Davenport is not the woman that should have been winning. Blair Davenport should have been saved for Stand and Deliver. This should have been a win for Tiffany Stratton. And Tiffany Stratton should have been used to help enhance Lyra Valkyria. And then we can go into Stand and Deliver with Blair and Lyra, with Blair winning the championship. Very, 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 very bizarre booking decision. I really do not know why they are investing so heavily in Cora Jade when she's not ready. I doubt that she is going to improve drastically over the course of the next 4 months. Because WrestleMania season is approaching rapidly. We're coming to the end of the year. We're only 15 days away from Christmas, and then pretty soon we're going to be a month away from the Rumble, and then pretty soon we're going to be at the Rumble. Great match. Wrong decision. Wrong winner. Lexis King and Carmelo Hayes, another one. Another one similar to Dominic Mysterio and Dragon Lee. 11 minutes. 11 minutes. Did not really pick up much steam. And the outcome was wrong. The outcome was wrong. This was a test for Lexis King. Lexis King looked fine in there. However, it seemed like they ended the match way too quickly before we could really see what Lexis King could do. He's got a great look. He's got a nice theme song. He's not that bad. He's not bad in the ring. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he's bad in the ring. He's not terrible in the ring. But we haven't really seen a match from Lexis King that has really spoke to us as, oh man, this is a great match. This is a must-see match. This is an awesome match. We haven't really seen that. Lexis King, he's pretty much been living off of that MJF match at Grand Slam. All he's been doing is living off of that match at Grand Slam with MJF, the first Grand Slam. The Grand Slam where they sold 21,000 tickets. That right there is the only, and I legitimately mean the only thing that not Dragon Lee, I'm still on Dragon Lee, Lexis King has been living off of. And this right here, this should have been a breakout performance for him. And in reality, all it did was just turn out to be another decent match on a pay-per-view that was ultimately upstaged by other things on the show. I didn't expect this to be the match of the night, but I did expect a little bit more. The match was fine, but 11 minutes? 11 minutes. I mean, they're on Peacock. They're on fucking Peacock. They're not running on any fucking time constraints. You know, if you actually had taken away the 5 to 10 minutes that CM Punk and Shawn Michaels wasted opening up the show, you could have given an extra 5-6 minutes to Lexis King and Carmelo Hayes. But you know, who the fuck am I? So Carmelo Hayes, he went right after Lexis King. No wasted motion. Carmelo then with a chop. King then with a chop. And he accidentally hit the post as well. Melo and King then exchanged some chops. King then with a wrecking ball drop kick. He then booted Hayes into the steps as well. King was trying to slow the pace down. King then with a springboard Tree of Woe double stomp. The turnbuckle pad actually came off too. That did not play into an effect later on in the match. So Melo, he got turned inside out with a clothesline. Melo doing his job, selling his ass off for Lexis King. King then wanted Melo to shake his hand. Melo then gave King the middle finger. Melo gave King the middle finger. Melo and King then fought on the top rope, and they both crashed onto the apron and the floor. Not really sure what happened there. Melo landed on his left leg, and then he tried to mount a comeback. Springboard clothesline and a tilt-a-whirl face plant for a 2. Lexis King then delivered a jackhammer to Carmelo Hayes for a 2. Hayes then was caught with a right hand. Lexis King didn't get all of it. And then Carmelo Hayes delivered a code breaker as well. Then he delivered the nothing but net, and then he pins Lexis King clean 1, 2, 3. They were put in a tough spot after the women's match, but I really don't understand why we couldn't have gotten an extra 5 minutes. And why did Melo win? Well, why exactly did Melo win? Did Melo really need the victory here? Carmelo Hayes is already a made man. He's probably the best wrestler out of the entire NXT roster. Why did Carmelo Hayes need to get the victory? This should have been the victory that Lexis King has been looking for. This should have been a victory that catapulted Lexis King to that next level. This should have been the match that should have catapulted Lexis King to the next level. And instead, it was barely a blip on the undercard. And then, more so, if you were going to have the outcome that you got in the Men's Iron Survivor Challenge, with Trick Williams coming out victorious, even though he shouldn't have, if you were going to have the outcome in the Men's Iron Survivor Challenge be Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes Carmelo Hayes was fighting Lexis King, why exactly didn't Carmelo Hayes lose and Trick Williams got the victory? It would have been the same exact thing that happened back at NXT No Mercy. Would have been the same fucking thing that happened at NXT No Mercy when we got Trick Williams walking away with the North American Championship and Carmelo Hayes lost the NXT Championship to Ilya Dragunov. It would have been the same exact story that they could have told. And instead, we got Hayes winning and then Trick Williams winning. So what exactly does Carmelo Hayes have to be mad about? I understand where they're going, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but wouldn't it have made more sense if Lexis King got the victory, just so that way Carmelo Hayes would have continued to sink into a dark pit, and ultimately he would have revealed his true colors in the end? Lexis King then took the microphone, and he said that was one hell of a match, but I'll make something easy for you. It wasn't me who attacked Trick Williams, but thank you for that PLE spotlight, my friend. So obviously, we already know that it was Carmelo Hayes that attacked Trick Williams, but Lexis King pretty much played up to the fact that he got the PLE spotlight by saying he attacked Trick Williams, and Carmelo Hayes gave him a match. Wouldn't it have made more sense if he won the match, and then he could have told Carmelo Hayes, hey, I didn't attack Trick Williams, but thanks for that PLE spotlight. Instead, he looks like a loser in the end. Really fucking stupid. Fucking stupid booking decisions all around. I really don't understand. The only two matches that actually had the right outcome was the opening match and the main event. Trick Williams, speaking of which, Trick Williams, Braun Breaker, Dijak, Josh Briggs, and Tyler Bate. This is the men's Iron Survivor Challenge. Josh Briggs, he started off the match with Dijak. And I was actually looking forward to this match. And if there was one match that was going to ultimately steal the show, it was going to be this match. And I was very, very, very pleased with what we got. So we had Josh Briggs. He actually had a decent little performance here. I got to give credit to Josh Briggs. So Josh Briggs, he delivered a Hurricane Rana to Dijak, which looked very nice. Hurricane Rana to Dijak. Dijak then came back with a suplex toss. He then delivered High Justice on Josh Briggs. Josh Briggs kicked out. Josh Briggs then with a big boot for a 2. We then had Feast Your Eyes by Dijak. And that was enough to get the first fall. We got the first fall, and we ended up seeing Tyler Bate come out next. Tyler Bate came out, and Tyler Bate, he went right after Dijak. We had a diving European uppercut. We had a big exploder suplex in the corner. Briggs was then let out of the penalty box. We then had Josh Briggs trying to help out Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate was then taken out momentarily, and Josh Briggs delivered a massive clothesline, and he pinned Dijak to get a fall. So Josh Briggs, he was able to get some offense, and he was able to get a fall. So Josh Briggs then went for a standing splash on Tyler Bate. That got a 2. Dijak was out of the box. We had a Tyler Driver 97. Dijak saved it. Tyler Bate then reversed Feast Your Eyes, and Dijak was rolled up. Tyler Bate scored a fall, and then he was sent back to the penalty box. So it was 1-1-1. 10 minutes hit, and Trick Williams came out. And the crowd was chanting, "Whoop that Trick." We had Dijak coming in. We had a double neck breaker on Dijak and Briggs. Williams then leaped off of Josh Briggs and caught Dijak midair with a lariat. Bate was able to save it as he went for a pin. Bate then with a reverse a reverse airplane spin. Reverse airplane spin on Trick Williams. The crowd was chanting, "This is awesome." Tyler Bate then with a suicide dive on Josh Briggs. Bate then with a rebound clothesline. Tyler driver on Williams, and Bate scores a fall. He got 2. He was in the lead, and Tyler Bate sent Trick Williams to the penalty box. All of a sudden, out came the final entrant, which was Braun Breaker, and Braun Breaker came in like a house of fucking fire. Braun Breaker came in like a house of fucking fire. Spear on Dijak, spear on Bate, spear on Josh Briggs, and he got a fall on each and every single one of those spears. And in came Trick Williams. So Trick Williams then stood face-to-face with Braun Breaker. Trick then got caught with a clothesline and then a Steiner recliner. We had brawling in the penalty box, actually. We had a rock bottom by Trick. Trick then went up top, and he dove with a crossbody onto the pile. Dijak then with a cyclone boot, and he scored a fall on Williams. Now it was 1 for Josh Briggs. It was 2 for Tyler Bate, 2 for Dijak, and 3 for Braun Breaker. So then after Trick Williams was sent to the penalty box, Dijak was up on the top. Braun Breaker delivered a Frankensteiner. Tyler Bate then caught him in a Tyler driver, and Tyler Bate tied Braun Breaker. He scored 3 points. So he's tied with Braun. Dijak then goes to the box. Breaker then with a moonsault fallaway slam on Bate. Briggs saved it. In came Dijak with less than 5 minutes left. Dijak and Briggs with double choke slams to Bate and Braun, and then double moonsaults on Trick and Braun. And then we got the double falls. So it was Briggs at 2 points, Dijak at 3, Tyler Bate at 3, Braun Breaker at 3. We had a tornado DDT by Tyler Bate. Bate then dove over the top rope onto Dijak. So it was getting woolly wild and all over the place, as Earl Cole says. It was getting really, really crazy. All of a sudden, Trick Williams got out of the penalty box. And Trick Williams, this is where shit started to go south from a creative booking standpoint. Trick Williams was speared through the barricade by Braun Breaker. Trick Williams was speared through the barricade by Braun Breaker. All of a sudden, Dijak then choke slammed Braun through the announce table. Williams then rolled up Briggs for a fall. So Williams, out of nowhere, after being speared through the barricade, comes out of nowhere, rolls up Josh Briggs for a fall. All of a sudden, Dijak was going to score a fall, and Eddie Thorpe came in. Eddie Thorpe pulled the referee out of the ring. He pulled the ref out of the ring. He took out Dijak. Trick Williams rolled up Dijak for a fall. So now Trick Williams is at 2. Tyler Bate then with a spiral tap. And then Tyler Bate picked up Trick Williams. He went for the Tyler driver 97. Trick Williams rolled up Tyler Bate and tied the score. 3 for Trick, 3 for Braun, 3 for Dijak, 3 for Bate. In came Braun Breaker. He went for the spear. Trick Williams with the high-flying knee. 1, 2, 3. Trick Williams scores 4 falls within 60 seconds, and the time elapses. And Trick Williams wins the Iron Survivor Challenge. I'll get the positive things out of the way first. First of all, the Iron Survivor Challenge is slowly but surely becoming one of my favorite matches in WWE right now. This Iron Survivor Challenge here, with these 5 individuals, this was easily better than last year's Iron Survivor Challenge. This was absolutely insane. And all 5 of these guys, similar to the women, all 5 of these guys worked their asses off. And I was very, very pleased with what we got with the men's Iron Survivor Challenge. And I got no complaints there. I got no complaints. From a wrestling standpoint, it was probably one of the best matches in WWE all year. It was probably one of the best matches in WWE all year, and I was very, very, very pleased with the outcome. Now, from a wrestling standpoint, as great as it was, the creative booking outcome standpoint, the creative booking, the winner of this match, that is what I have a problem with. The thing that I have an issue with is the fact that WWE, and the WWE, they always do this. They always do this. One thing that AEW has over WWE, AEW does not push individuals who are not ready for the spotlight. AEW does not push individuals who are not ready to be champions. WWE, I don't know what the fuck their mentality is, but the WWE mentality where they push people who are not ready for these major spotlights, I don't think they realize how detrimental that is to the other stars. You take a look at all the other stars, Tyler Bate, Dijak, and Braun Breaker. All of these stars put Trick Williams to dog shit shame. All of these stars make Trick Williams look like a fucking amateur. But yet Trick Williams is the one to come out victorious. And then on top of that, Trick Williams scoring 4 falls in 60 seconds. How is that realistic? And I know there's going to be some fucking retard that's going to come at me and say, what about Braun Breaker? What about Braun Breaker? And the fact that Braun Breaker came in and in 40 seconds, he speared 3 people and scored 3 falls. I am about to make you and anyone else that claims that look like a fucking retard. You see, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Braun Breaker was the final entrant in the Iron Survivor Challenge. He went into a match in which 4 people had already been competing before him. Tyler Bate had been competing for 10 minutes before Braun Breaker came in. Trick Williams had been competing in 5 minutes before Braun Breaker came in, and Josh Briggs and Dijak were both competing for 15 minutes before Braun Breaker came in. Braun Breaker was the freshest competitor in the entire match. Braun Breaker was as fresh as a fucking daisy. Braun Breaker came in as fresh as a motherfucking daisy and hit 3 spears in a row. And I'm not sure if you guys pay attention, but Braun Breaker, it's not just a fucking catchphrase, people. It ain't just a fucking catchphrase. Braun Breaker has the legitimate best spear in the entire business. Braun Breaker has the best spear in the whole business. You take a look at Braun Breaker's spear. Braun Breaker's spear has enough intensity and velocity where it looks like it could flip over an 18 fucking wheeler. Braun Breaker's spear looks like it could flip over an 18 fucking wheeler. And you're trying to tell me it's unrealistic that Braun Breaker can come in as fresh as a fucking daisy in a match in which 4 individuals have already been competing before he came out, and Braun Breaker hits 3 devastating spears and scores these falls one after the other? And then on top of that, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but Trick Williams ate one of those spears right through the fucking barricade. He ate one of those spears right through the motherfucking barricade. And yet you're trying to tell me that Trick Williams has enough energy to get up after a spear like that within 25 seconds and score 4 falls one after the other after the other? How fucking retarded can you be? Seriously, how fucking retarded can you be? That is absolutely fucking ridiculous. I don't care how you want to spin it. I don't care what you want to say. Trick Williams, A, is not ready, and the fact that Trick Williams pretty much no-sold a spear from Braun Breaker, and Trick Williams rolled up 3 individuals and hit a flying knee on Braun Breaker, and Braun Breaker was seemingly knocked out after the knee after being a fresh competitor, after being the freshest competitor in the entire fucking match, and you're trying to tell me that that is realistic? Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Now, I'm not an idiot. I know what they're doing. I know exactly what they are doing. Trick Williams won the Iron Survivor Challenge specifically because now that he's challenging for the NXT Championship, Carmelo Hayes is going to reveal his true colors, and Carmelo Hayes is going to end up costing Trick Williams the championship. That I understand. But why do you need the NXT Championship in this story? You really couldn't have had Trick Williams challenge for the North American Championship? You had 3 guys, Dijak, Braun Breaker, and Tyler Bate, who are all better than Trick Williams and would give Dragunov better matches than Trick Williams. But no, you got to put Trick Williams in there just because the crowd chants his song. Trick Williams is as green as goose shit. He is not ready for that spotlight. And on top of that, how is it realistic that Trick Williams gets speared through the barricade and then 30 seconds later gets back up, pins 3 individuals in the span of 25 seconds, and then hits Anita Braun Breaker and wins? That was a terrible decision. I really don't understand what WWE's mentality was there. That they made Braun Breaker, Tyler Bate, and Dijak all look bad with that one decision. Trick Williams was not the right guy to do it. Enough of this fucking, you gotta build this fucking story with Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. That shit doesn't need any championships in it. That shit doesn't need the NXT title. That shit doesn't need the North American title. That is a story unto itself. That is a story unto itself, and it should be told by itself. We need to focus on putting the absolute best in the ring when an NXT championship match is booked. When you are booking an NXT championship match, you are to put the best professional wrestlers in the ring and the best professional wrestlers only. I accept nothing less. Nothing less whatsoever. Excellent match. Excellent match. One of the best of the year. Absolute shit outcome. WWE really needs to reassess themselves, and they really need to learn to put the best professional wrestlers in that spot. They need to learn to leave storylines where they are and not try to magically enhance them just because the crowd are chanting someone's theme song. Trick Williams is not ready, and the way that they had Trick Williams win as unrealistic as can be. And it honest to God left a very sour taste in my mouth. Really did. Because that was a great match. That was an excellent Iron Survivor Challenge. Braun Breaker would have been the best one. Hell, I would have taken Tyler Bate. I'm glad that Dijak didn't win, because Dijak, he should be saved for Stand and Deliver. Dijak should take the championship off of Dragunov. But I mean, come on. Come on, man. Matt, the reason why Carmelo Hayes would cost Trick Williams the North American title is because if you remember, Dominic Mysterio beat Trick Williams. Trick Williams never got his rematch for the NXT North American Championship. On top of that, Trick Williams was not merely attacked by Carmelo Hayes because he's going for the NXT Championship. That's not the story. The story is Carmelo Hayes is now falling down the ladder while Trick Williams is rising up the ladder, whether it be to the NXT North American Championship or the NXT Championship. That's the story. It doesn't have to do with one specific fucking championship. It has to do with Carmelo Hayes going down and Trick Williams going up. And you don't need to have Trick Williams in an NXT title match to enhance the story. The story was already there. No, I'm not wrong. You're just a fucking retard. Get the fuck out of my chat. If you're going to be a fucking retard, go. I am here to analyze only the facts. And everything that comes out of my mouth is a fucking fact. Remember this, motherfucker. I speak objectively, not subjectively. You don't like it? Make like your mother and suck my cock. Trick Williams should not have won. It should have been Breaker or it should have been Bate. You put the best talent up against the best talent for the NXT Championship. Trick Williams is not ready. If you wanted to have Trick Williams in a championship match, you could have had Trick Williams versus Dragon Lee. Or if anything, why exactly didn't we get Trick Williams versus Dominic Mysterio for the North American Championship at Deadline? And then Carmelo Hayes could have cost him. Then we could have gotten the heel turn tonight, or last night rather. We could have gotten the heel turn on this show. And then it would have given us something more to talk about and something to look forward to going into NXT. And no, Matt, I will not stop using the word retard. I don't care if you think I sound ignorant. Everything that comes out of my mouth is a fucking fact anyway. I will say whatever the fuck I want. If you don't like it, don't watch me. If you do not like what is coming out of my mouth, then don't watch me. My fucking show. I can do whatever I want. Deal with it, bitch. I'm getting all out of fucking sorts here. We're going to move on. Wrong winner. Excellent match. Wrong winner. Should have been Breaker or Bate. Same thing with the women's match. Tiffany Stratton should have won that. Thank you, Anya. There you go. You don't like it, don't watch. Steel cage match. This was Roxanne Perez and Kiana James. Again, similar to Lexis King and Carmelo Hayes, they were put in a very, very, very tough spot. Following the Men's Iron Survivor Challenge. I was actually looking forward to this match just because I'm very much impressed with Kiana James, and I am very much impressed with Roxanne Perez. I'm actually still pissed that they booked Roxanne Perez so poorly in her NXT title reign. I'm not sure, again, this is another case where I'm not sure what Shawn Michaels was thinking. This match went 11 minutes. And as much as I am a fan of Roxanne Perez and as much of a fan as I am of Kiana James, the crowd didn't seem to care. And it's for two specific reasons whatsoever. Number one, women's wrestling is just fucking dead. No one gives a fuck about women's wrestling in WWE in 2023. AEW is not that much better, but when it comes to the week-to-week matches, AEW is putting on better week-to-week women's wrestling matches than WWE. Minus the Iron Survivor Challenge, because the Iron Survivor Challenge for the women was very good. But no one really gave a shit. About this undercard rivalry. This was better suited for NXT TV. So number one, women's wrestling is just dead in WWE. And number two, WWE steel cage matches, they're all the same. Someone gets thrown into the cage. Someone gets thrown into the other side of the cage. They go up to the top. They trade blows on the top. They tease that someone's going to end up falling off of the cage, and then they just end up slinking back down. There's no excitement with WWE steel cage matches. There's no excitement. There's no weapons. There's no high spots. There's nothing. WWE steel cage matches are lame. They're lame. I'm sorry to tell you, but that's just the gospel truth right there. I don't want to sound like I'm not appreciating what Perez and Kiana James can do, but the match was fucking unexciting. It was just boring. It was way too slow paced. Very boring. Crowd didn't care. And WWE steel cage matches, they are all the same. They're all the same. As a matter of fact, this was probably one of the most tame steel cage matches that I think I've ever seen. Probably one of the most tame steel cage matches that I think I've ever watched. If you are not going to give me what Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley did back in May, if you're not going to give me what Jack Perry and Luchasaurus did last year at Full Gear in New Jersey, then you know what? Don't even bother doing a steel cage match. Don't. So Perez came out of the gate, drop kick to James against the cage. Kiana James then came in with a spine buster. Kiana then accidentally drove herself into the cage. We had a Fez press by Roxanne Perez. She then bounced Kiana off the cage walls, one after the other. Perez then went up to the top of the cage, and we all thought that we were going to get a big dive. Kiana then met her there. They were punching each other on top of the cage. And then Kiana then slipped down the bottom and powerbombed Roxanne Perez from the bottom rope. Perez then was in a position where she was being power bombed from cage wall to cage wall. She was being power bombed on one cage wall. She was being power bombed on the other. She hit Pop Rocks out of nowhere. Perez covered, but James was able to kick out. Kiana then opened the door and grabbed a steel chair. All of a sudden, as Roxanne Perez was looking to close the steel cage door and she was getting ready to beat down Kiana James with the chair, Izzy Dane came in. No idea who the fuck Izzy Dane even is. The crowd didn't seem to give a shit either. I actually thought it was Tiffany Stratton at first glance. Kiana James, then she took advantage and hit the deal breaker with the steel chair after Izzy Dane crashed the door right into Roxanne Perez's face, and Kiana James gets the win, and that was that. Again, I respect Roxanne Perez and I respect Kiana James, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this was a good match. It was very boring. What's going on over here? I froze up. I'm freezing up over here. What's going on? Why am I freezing up over here? I thought we left all these technical difficulties in the spring of 2023. It's unbelievable. Like I said, Kiana James, Roxanne Perez, I have a lot of respect for him. I do. But WWE's steel cage match is very formulaic, very tame, and very, very slow. It is very, very, very hard to have a great steel cage match nowadays because everything's already been done. We really, and I mean, we really need to get a sense of adrenaline when we have a steel cage match. We really need to inject a sense of excitement into WWE's steel cage match. I'm not saying that you need to bring out thumbtacks every single fucking time, but give me weapons, give me some intensity, give me some creativity. Very, very slow, very, very lame, very, very tame match. Kiana James gets the win. And then in the main event, Baron Corbin, Ilya Dragunov, NXT Championship. By this time, it was actually a little disappointing because the crowd was dead. The crowd was really dead at this point. And I was sitting there like, this is the main event, and they can't even get hyped for the main event. I actually felt a little bad for Baron Corbin because, if anything, like I said, this was probably one of the best matches of Baron Corbin's career, and the crowd did not reciprocate what these two were doing. So Corbin came out riding on a motorcycle. He looked great. Very technical early on. Dragunov with a German suplex on the floor. Corbin then answered back by dropping Dragunov on the announce table with a gourd buster. Corbin then slowed the pace down. Dragunov missed a diving senton. Corbin with a flying clothesline from the middle rope for a 2. Corbin then with a DDT and a Uranagi. Dragunov was then caught with a gutbuster and a dragon sleeper. So Corbin is adding some new moves to his arsenal. So Dragunov then mounted a comeback. Dragunov fired back. We had some big chops. We had a diving senton that connected. Big chops in the corner. German suplex for a 2. Corbin then with a choke slam off the top rope. Corbin then got a 2 count off the choke slam. Another dragon sleeper, but Dragunov was able to get free. Dragunov then delivered a Death Valley driver into the corner. He went for Torpedo Moscow, and Baron Corbin caught him with a deep 6. After the deep 6, Baron Corbin got a 2 count. Dragunov was then caught with a Death Valley driver and a brain buster by Baron Corbin. Very nicely done. Baron Corbin then was caught with a powerbomb. Initially, Dragunov could not get the powerbomb, but he ended up finally getting it. He got the powerbomb, and then he went for the coast-to-coast. Dragunov, he then reversed the end of days into a DDT. He then delivered 3 H-bombs. He delivered 3 H-bombs, and then he hugged Baron Corbin, whispered something in his ear, one last sayonara to Baron Corbin, and we got the Torpedo Moscow, and Ilya Dragunov gets the victory 1-2-3 as he should. Ilya Dragunov retains the NXT Championship. A little slow at first, but the match did what it needed to do. Although I really do wish that the crowd would have been a bit more louder, because Baron Corbin and Ilya Dragunov, they did very, very well for the 21 minutes that it went. And in the end, Dragunov retains the NXT Championship as expected. The show was not bad. The show was not bad at all. I did not have an issue with the wrestling portion of the show, but WWE really needs to learn how to pace their matches a lot better when it comes to these NXT events. We need these NXT events to have longer matches, and we need these NXT events to have better outcomes. Trick Williams should not have won. Blair Davenport should not have won. Carmelo Hayes should not have won. Very, 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 very bad outcomes. Very bad creative booking on Shawn Michaels' part. In the end, NXT put on a decent show. I did not leave the show feeling disappointed in terms of the wrestling. And ultimately, I guess with NXT, that's all I can really ask for at this point. It certainly wasn't the best NXT event that they've done. The best NXT event that they've done was either No Mercy or it was probably NXT Battleground. NXT Battleground was actually a really, really, really solid show. That was NXT. NXT Deadline, the final WWE Premium Live Event of the year. We're not done yet. We're not done. We're going to go over AEW Collision, which was the better show. And you know what? I actually find it funny how people want to mock AEW for having the entire hard cam side empty, but yet, if my calculations serve me correctly, the hard cam side for NXT Deadline was completely empty as well. Or is it only bad when AEW has the hard cam side empty? Fucking retards, all of you. AEW Collision. Let me tell you something. AEW Collision had less people than NXT Deadline, and yet the people over in Montreal on a taped show made more noise than the people in Bridgeport, Connecticut did for the main event. How about that? How about that? Oh, by the way, you want to know what's even more embarrassing? I think it's even more embarrassing that we have the hard cam side on a premium live event for WWE empty. I don't give a fuck if it's NXT or not. I don't give a fuck if you want to claim that it's developmental or not. It's not developmental if WWE is trying to say that, oh, it's a third brand, and you got fucking John Cena and the Judgment Day and Paul Heyman and fucking Undertaker appearing on this fucking show. Collision. We actually got a really, really, really good wrestling show for Collision. We built the show around two things. Number one, the show was built around Kenny Omega and Ethan Page, and it was two Canadian boys going at it. And it was also built around the two Continental Classic matchups. Claudio Castagnoli, he took on Eddie Kingston, and this was a rematch from Grand Slam, back in September. And these two put on an excellent match. Matter of fact, this may have been the best match out of the trilogy that they put on this year. This may have been their best match out of the 3 matches that they had this year. And Kingston and Claudio absolutely will go down as one of the best trilogies in wrestling this year. That, Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov will go down as a great trilogy. Got to put that up there. And there's a couple more I think I'm missing. I'll have to go back and rewatch. But this was an excellent match. The crowd was hyped for it. And the story of the match was Eddie Kingston trying to save his chances of winning the Continental Classic. So we had a spinning back fist. spinning back fist and a backdrop driver right out of the gate. And then after the spinning back fist and the backdrop driver, Eddie Kingston came in with a suicide dive. The crowd was hot for Eddie Kingston. The crowd was hyped and hot for Eddie Kingston. Afterwards, Claudio came in with a neutralizer. That got a 2 count. Claudio then with a big swing. Round and round we go. And he locked in a sharpshooter. Sharpshooter right in the heart of Canada. Both men traded some stiff uppercuts. Both men then were up on the top rope. And Claudio delivered a massive superplex. Big-time superplex to Eddie Kingston. Coming back from commercial, Kingston was caught with a gut-wrench suplex for a 2. Kingston then with some chops. After the chops, Eddie Kingston then delivered a big lariat for a 2 count. Claudio then with a sliding uppercut and a crossface. Eddie was able to get to the ropes. Another uppercut by Claudio. Eddie kicked out. Claudio was then caught with a half-and-half suplex and 2 spinning back fists. 1, 2. Claudio kicked out. We had a great near fall right there. Claudio then rolled up Eddie. And then Eddie Kingston, in the same fashion that Claudio beat Eddie Kingston back at Supercard of Honor earlier this year, Eddie Kingston rolls up Claudio Castagnoli, puts the pressure high on the shoulders, and Eddie Kingston scores 3 points and continues his dream in the Continental Classic. And I'm very much enjoying what we're getting right there. And the Continental Classic, it's really given a boost of adrenaline to AEW TV. This is what we need. We need focused shows. And we got a focused show here. Very, very pleased with what we got. And Eddie Kingston and Claudio, as per usual, they delivered a great match. And Eddie Kingston keeps his hopes alive of winning the Continental Classic. We got ourselves Hook. Hook was interviewed by Renee Paquette. Wheeler Yuta then came in and called himself an honorable champion. Hook said, yes, so honorable that you kicked Shibata in the balls. Yuta said that he can make Hook's life a living hell. So why don't we do this under FTW rules? Hook said, bet. I'm not really sure what that means. I'm not really sure if that means that we're going to get that at Final Battle. I'm not sure if that means we're going to get that at Rampage. If anything, I'd put it on Final Battle. That would actually make Final Battle feel a little bit more important. Final Battle already looks like a decent show on paper. I would put that match on the show. Because why the fuck not? Willow Nightingale. She took on Mercedes Martinez. And Mercedes Martinez was in control early on, so much so that she actually delivered a nasty swinging neck breaker. A swinging neck breaker off of the barricade. I thought that was very nicely done right there. Very nicely done with a swinging neck breaker off the barricade. And then she delivered a suplex to Willow Nightingale. Willow Nightingale then came back with a bulldog and then a diving drop kick. Cannonball in the corner, but Martinez got her hand on the rope. Diamante then came in and Willow Nightingale punched her out. Willow then was caught with a fisherman buster by Martinez for a 2. We had a backdrop driver as well and a second one. Big exploder suplex, cliffhanger slam by Martinez. Willow Nightingale rolled up Martinez and ended up getting the victory. Afterwards, Diamante and Martinez attacked, which led to Statlander coming on out to help. I'm guessing that we're going to get a tag team match. We're getting a tag team match at some point. If they do it on Collision, I would be okay with it. If they do it on Final Battle, I would have been okay with it. Either way, we got some stuff going down. And I'm looking forward to seeing what we got going on. It's going to be fun. Wardlow, he took on Willie Mack. And Wardlow, he was just absorbing all of this offense from Willie Mack. Willie Mack then with a standing moonsault, that only got a 1 count. Wardlow, then out of nowhere, this was great right here. Wardlow, he caught Willie Mack, and Willie Mack is no small guy. He caught Willie Mack mid-Hurricane Rana, picked him up, and powerbombed him after catching him in the mid-Hurricane Rana. Wardlow then with a second powerbomb, big lariat, and then a last ride powerbomb. And Wardlow gets the win via a referee stoppage. I don't really know what they're waiting for with Wardlow. I'm assuming that Wardlow is going to be a part of the Devil's Minions. It only makes sense. It only makes sense that Wardlow is a part of the Devil's Minions. So if my calculations serve me correctly, it's going to be Roderick Strong, Mike Bennett, Matt Taven. It's going to be Wardlow and Adam Cole. Maybe Kyle O'Reilly. So some people say that it's Kyle O'Reilly. Maybe the Devil's Roderick Strong. Maybe the Devil's Roderick Strong. Who the fuck knows? But Wardlow, he's got to be one of the Devil's Minions. He's got to be. There's no way that he's not. Ethan Page. Ethan Page, he took on Kenny Omega. And the crowd was pretty hyped for this match. And I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time ever that we've seen Ethan Page versus Kenny Omega. First time ever. First time ever that we saw Ethan Page versus Kenny Omega. So we got ourselves a great match between these two. Ethan Page, let me tell you something. Ethan Page I think he's very, 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 very underrated. Ethan Page, in my eyes, is probably one of the most underrated professional wrestlers that AEW has right now. And I really do hope that we are going to start seeing Ethan Page a little bit more. And this match actually got me more excited to see his I Quit match with Tony Nese. I wasn't really too into the whole thing with Tony Nese, but Tony Nese is a very good wrestler, and if you're going to make it an I Quit match, so we're going to get some more fun stuff. We're probably going to get some weapons involved. We're going to get a lot more excitement than just a normal one-on-one match. So I'm looking forward to it. I think that I Quit match is going to be very, very entertaining. And this match itself, I really do hope that they continue with Ethan Page's momentum, because Ethan Page, he is a guy that I don't think he's going to be the face of the brand, but he is certainly a guy that can achieve success and carry a championship when you want him to carry a championship. He's a guy that carries himself very well. So this was very, very standard early on. We had a Hurricane Rana by Omega. Ethan Page, he answered back with a beautiful, and I mean a beautiful, slingshot cutter. Very, very, very nicely done by Ethan Page. I actually popped for that. So now we are going on the floor. Omega with a moonsault off of the barricade on Ethan Page. We had a very nice Kotaro crusher for a 2. Omega then suplexed Page over the top rope. Both men crashed to the floor. Coming back from commercial, Omega with a knee to Page in midair. We had a powerbomb and a V-trigger for a 2. Page then with an iconoclasm and a DDT. And then Omega, he delivered the You Can't Escape rolling senton. He missed the moonsault, and Page ended up catching a dragon suplex. So Page could not capitalize off of the error by Omega. We had a second dragon suplex, and then he took Ethan Page up to the top rope, did Omega. Ethan Page with an avalanche power slam. That got a 2. We had a V-trigger by Omega, a big boot by Page for a 2. Omega then rolled up Page for a 2. V-trigger connects. One winged angel. And Kenny Omega pins Ethan Page. 1, 2, 3. Omega gets the victory in convincing fashion. And Omega puts on a great match with Ethan Page. And I really do hope that Ethan Page continues this momentum going into Final Battle. And Ethan Page gets the win over Tony Nese. And maybe, if we're lucky, I think Ethan Page could be a great representative for a Ring of Honor Pure Championship. I'm not really sure where they're going to go with Ethan Page, but if anything, they don't even need to keep him on Ring of Honor. If anything, if you want Ethan Page to benefit, I would actually have Ethan Page take the TNT Championship off of Christian Cage. I would have Ethan Page take the TNT Championship off of Christian Cage, and I would have Edge be the one that helps Ethan Page. So the past of Canadian professional wrestling acknowledges the present of Canadian professional wrestling, almost in a passing of the torch type of moment. And Edge ends up giving the win to Ethan Page, and then Edge and Christian Cage can continue their feud going into Revolution. Seems pretty simple to me. I wouldn't hate it. So afterwards, Kenny Omega was walking up the ramp, and Big Bill came out of nowhere and just booted Kenny Omega right in the fucking face. We're going to hear from the Golden Jets at Winter is Coming, and it seems like our tag team title match for World's End is all but confirmed. It is going to be Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho versus Ricky Starks and Big Bill. I'm looking forward to it. I'm very much looking forward to it. Commander and Penta El Cero Miedo. They took on 2.0. And the crowd was hyped for Daddy Magic. They were in Canada, of course. So the Luchadors were actually in control early on. Penta, he did a beautiful spot right here. Penta slingshotted. He slingshotted Commander into a cannonball on 2.0. I thought that was great. I thought that was excellent. So after that, coming back from commercial, Penta with 2 sling blades, double super kicks on 2.0. Crowd was chanting, "This is awesome." We had a made in Japan by Penta. Daddy Magic then saved it. Daddy Magic then with the Walls of Jericho, aka a Boston Crab. Commander then saved it. We had an assisted code breaker by 2.0, so they were actually breaking out some decent moves here. Then all of a sudden, we had a beautiful shooting star press into a Fear Factor on Angelo Parker, which I thought was great. And the Luchadors ended up getting the win over here in a solid match. And Collision has really become a place for Luchador professional wrestling. And I'm very much enjoying what they're doing. We'll see what happens going forward. But Commander, he's got himself a match at Ring of Honor Final Battle. So we'll see how that plays out. And then the main event, Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson took on Andrade El Idolo. And I also have to admit, I didn't think that it was going to work out as good as it has. But I really got to say, I've been liking the whole partnership with CJ Perry and Andrade. And they've been building up the feud between Andrade and Miro very, very nicely. Miro said, "I promise you, I'm not going to touch him at all. But once this tournament is finished, so is he." I like that line right there. And then CJ Perry, she's also hyping up Andrade. She's going on and on about how he's won championships in 5 different weight classes. He can soar higher than any cruiserweight. He can hit harder than any heavyweight. This is in his blood, and he was born to do this. And then Miro comes in, and he goes, "How come you've never said so many nice things about me?" It's pretty simple, but I'm liking what they're doing with CJ Perry. She's very, very good in that managerial position. She's not being overexposed. There's nothing cringeworthy about her. She's coming off genuine. She's coming off real. And I appreciate that. I very much appreciate that. Bryan and Andrade, excellent match. 2 excellent Continental Classic matchups. And Andrade gets the win over Bryan. Absolutely the right outcome. So Bryan was in control early on. All of a sudden, Bryan, after doing a tope suicida, Andrade then ripped the eye patch off. Andrade ripped the eye patch off. Andrade then punched Bryan right in his scar. So Bryan was operating without the eye patch. We had a figure 4 by Andrade. Bryan got to the ropes. Andrade was just inflicting this punishment on Bryan Danielson. Andrade then got slapped off the top rope by Bryan. We had a shotgun drop kick, and then he locked in the label lock. Andrade was able to get out. We had a roll-up for a 2. Double clothesline. Both men were down. Crowd was chanting, "Fight forever." Superplex by Andrade into the Three Amigos. Bryan then with a back superplex for a 2. Label lock again. It was in deep. Andrade then got to the ropes. Spinning back elbow. Bryan kicked out. Bryan then with the with a drop kick. Drop kick in the corner. And then Andrade answered back with an even more vicious double elbow. A second double elbow. Absolutely fucking brutal. And then afterwards, Andrade delivered 2 sets of double knees. 2 sets of double knees, one to the front, one to the back. And then he delivered the hammerlock DDT, and Andrade gets the win clean in an excellent match. Right outcome. And Andrade ties with Brody King, and he ties with Bryan Danielson. It is a 6-way, a 3-way tie. It's a 3-way tie right now. I'm liking it. I'm very much liking it. You know what's crazy? What's crazy is the fact that I take a look at the Gold League Continental Classic, and the Gold League Continental Classic actually looks better on paper. It's got Roosh, it's got Moxley, it's got Jay White, it's got Swerve, Mark Briscoe, but yet, the Blue League is actually producing the better matches. It's actually quite odd how that works out. Really, really, really odd how that works out. So afterwards, Claudio came out, and this was made into a big fucking scene. Claudio came out, and he was looking at Andrade. Andrade was trying to claim, "Hey, listen, I hit him with the back elbow. It's all competition." Claudio, I believe, he was mouthing at Andrade that he's going to fuck him up. Now, people were claiming that this was all serious and Bryan had an injury scare. I don't see this as an injury scare. What Claudio did, to me, it was just a work. To me, this whole thing with Claudio, it was just a fucking work. It was a work as a means to sell their match. It was a means to sell the match that we're going to get between Claudio Castagnoli and Andrade. So I don't really know why everyone is getting all up in arms. I really don't know why anyone's trying to make this a bigger deal than it really is. This was clearly a work to help create more tension and more hype towards the inevitable Claudio versus Andrade match, which I believe is the first time that they've ever faced. And that right there, I mean, come on, that's going to tear the fucking house down. Going to tear the fucking house down. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Ladies and gents, that wraps up this edition of The Rewind. We went over Deadline and Collision, and you guys were great. I'd like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video. Thank you very much to Anya. Thank you very much to James Punaseka. Thank you very much to Raging Girl Gamer, Hoolagrim, Sarah Habka, Dee, even you, Matt, you fucking retard. I appreciate you. I appreciate you because the more you watch me, the better I become. The better I become, and the more people watch me. That's what I do. You're only making me better, my friend. You already know what to do, people. Like, comment, and subscribe. Check out all of those links in the description. And of course, be ready because on Thursday, rundown for Final Battle with Hoolagrim. On Sunday, next Sunday, rewind for Final Battle with Hoolagrim. And then on Saturday, I will be making my debut on Rumble. I'll be streaming on Rumble. My debut on Rumble is upon you. My debut on Rumble is upon you. I'm going to be setting everything up, and we are going to be going live on Rumble for the very first time. If you guys have not already done so, please make sure you go show me some love on Rumble. It is vital that you do so. Until next time, I am DJ Storms. This has been the Rewind, but before we get out of here, people, you already know what the question that I need to be answered is. Who runs the IWC? You got to tell me who runs it. I'll tell you who runs the IWC. Who? But DJ motherfucking Storms. And don't you ever forget it.
Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution.